It is 2:15 p.m. I don't know how long it'll take to do the whole trip, so I packed like 4 or 5 days worth of stuff. Wow. I was a little bit lost. I didn't know what to do after I checked my bag. I think I'm D1, so I guess I'll go find D1. Oh wait. Oh, D1 is that way. Oh no. Yeah, I'm gonna miss the second plane for sure. So I changed it to a flight tomorrow morning for the second one. So I'm gonna be in Utah for 13 hours, so that's kind of cool. The only danger is I'm gonna end up like in a blizzard, I guess, when I arrive. So we'll see what happens there.
Flight attendant or one of your monitors.
Be sure to adjust your own mask before helping others.
So this is not only my first solo flight, but also my first flight as an adult, and my first time off the East Coast, along with my first flight at night. I could be wrong, however. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the best flight that I'll ever be on. So I am enjoying every moment of it. I've got ridiculous leg room. It's so cozy in here. There's like nobody on here. And I feel like I'm here alone. I don't even see anyone else from my seat. It's just me and a couple flight attendants from my perspective. They're super chill. She gave me some killer chips and all as well. Takeoff was actually fun. I enjoyed it. I used to be scared of planes, but it was actually exciting. I look forward to taking off again. I can't currently see anything. It's completely pitch black outside. The only light is reflection from my camera. And I honestly have no complaints. I took a little nappy already. So yeah, in all, it was about 6 hours in delay, or 6 hours of waiting. My second flight is actually, it took off like an hour ago, so I totally missed that. So instead of getting to my destination at about 11 p.m. local time in Montana, I'll be getting there at noon, so about 12 hours later than I anticipated, but that's fine. I'll figure out something to do at the Salt Lake City airport. I'm so hungry. I don't think anything's open. So we're at Salt Lake City now. First time off the East Coast. This is the most foreign land I've ever been to. I can't see the end of the airport. 1:35 local time, so 3:35 Eastern. So like, what do I do for 9 hours? Where do I go? And there's like nowhere to sleep really. It's just like chairs with metal sides. There's no boarding agents. Like there's people cleaning. I'm just looking for, like, A, I'm looking for someone I can ask. B, I'm looking for just a kiosk with like a stupid $20 sandwich. I've officially made it to one side of the airport, and yeah, I think I can't believe I can't get a single like refrigerated hard-boiled egg. I feel like I'm not supposed to be here. Like it's totally empty. I'm being taunted. See, this is what I thought would still be open. Oh yeah, and I think this is where I'm gonna be in like 9 hours. And honestly, if I go to the other side of the airport, it might take more than 9 hours to get back here. Oh, it's logging into Windows. All right, a bit of a status report. It is about 2:30 a.m. now, and I walked up and down the entire airport looking for food. Every single place is closed, aside from some unprotected chips that I was considering snatching, but then I remember that I'm in an airport, which has like the strongest security of anywhere in the United States. So I did not steal any chips. However, I did give it genuine consideration and sat there for a second, but the amount of time I sat there probably would have ruined any chance of getting away with stealing the chips, so I didn't steal the chips. I was gonna say I'm on the final stretch, but we still have to drive from Montana back to my house, so we actually are on just the very start of this entire trip, and I'm already kind of tired, but not like sleepy tired. I can't fall asleep, especially with how hungry I am, and the fact that these seats are like anti-homeless architecture. It's just a couple other people snoozing straight on the floor, and me. But from here, I get on another plane to Great Falls, Montana, and then I get picked up by my chauffeur, and we're probably gonna just immediately start driving back to North Carolina. I guess I'll try to sleep, we'll see. They're playing some like relaxing guitar plucking music, and yet there's just these bright ass fluorescent lights, 6500K color spectrum. Okay, that's solved, I guess. Hopefully no one steals my stuff if I fall asleep. I have failed to fall asleep. I tried for about a half hour. Look, there's the chips. Look, they're just sitting out. They're just there. That could fix everything right now. If I could just have one of those chips. Oh. Doritos. We did it, gamers. How many calories is this? 100? 290, so 390. 490 calories. They could have marked the prices up on these to literally anything and I would have paid it, so. I like to think this is what it's like when you need insulin. Oh, these are fresh. I feel better now, but now my tummy also hurts. And also it was pretty good, but also kind of terrible. I might be able to sleep now that I have food in my tummy. Actually, before that, I'm going to go ahead and keep walking, because it's like a mile walk. I'm going to go ahead to my gate, which I think is A8. Then, in a perfect world, I can just set an alarm for near my flight and just wake up when the plane is here. Look at all these cool destinations. Cancun, Los Angeles, Honolulu, and where are we going? Great Falls, Montana. It is now 3:20 a.m. and I am still walking to my gate. My flight is in less than 7 hours. Woohoo! Last 6.5 hours to go. There it is. I guess I'm gonna try and sleep again. I currently have the gate all to myself. In a perfect world, I will fall asleep and then wake up and everyone is here and we board the plane. And my plane is currently missing. Time for sleepy round 2, or attempt number 2. Okay, well that was the worst sleep of my life. I slept in like 10-minute intervals for like 2 hours. It's 6:17 now. And also my gate changed from A8 to A49, which is all the way across the airport. So the trek begins once again. It is interesting though, I fell asleep in a totally empty, dead airport and now it's hustling and bustling. It's not crazy, but there's definitely commotion. The gate changed again, and also the plane's delayed by only 30 minutes, but the first one was delayed by only 30 minutes 6 times. So I went from A8 to A44, which is all the way across. Now I have to go to B5. However, it was kind of cool to be able to actually be at the east wing of the airport during the sunrise, because I got to see the sun come over these like super snowy peaks, which I've never seen such like jagged mountains like that. I've only been to the Smokies. It really didn't feel like I was looking out a real window. It felt kind of like one of my VR environments.
Use PIN pad to complete transaction. Thank you for shopping with us.
Damn, it's cold. Alright, I made it. This is one goofy airport. I guess it's quite Montana-esque. No stores at this one, definitely no Panera Bread. My ride is not answering the phone, so I just have to wait, I guess. Otherwise I'm just stranded in Montana. Alright, it's a little bit cold. I got picked up by my Uber driver / my future roommate. Oh yeah, I love Loves. They're so nice. I love these showers. And I'm officially done with the airports and stuff. I feel so much better. My future roommates picked me up and we went to a nearby Taco Bell. And from there, they said goodbye to one another and we just got on the road and started driving. Oh my god, it is disgustingly cold. It's 10 degrees. Oh my god, it's so cold. But we wanted to stop and see. This is Billings, Montana. Oh my god, I'm freezing. Okay, it's beautiful, but oh my god, my hands. We've been driving for 3.5, maybe 4 hours. Well, I've been driving and we're gonna switch off and she'll take over. Woohoo! Whoa! Oh my. However, our initial destination was not actually North Carolina. It was instead Colorado, where a friend who I met via Discord about 7 years ago offered if we need somewhere to stay, we would be more than welcome to come and join him and his boyfriend at their house. This was a great opportunity to not only meet another Discord friend, as well as explore a new city we've never been to, but it was going to help us avoid the blizzard that was actively happening in the north part of the country, basically. So instead of driving directly east through it and to North Carolina, we could go south where it's slightly warmer and then drive east once we were ready to leave Colorado. So is this ice or just your paint? Oh, that's just your...
No, that's just my paint. Oh, this is what I meant by, like, it's wrinkling weird.
Oh, I didn't realize the back was...
Oh, I didn't know.
Your plate's completely concealed.
Can I go that fast? Wait, why is there a bridge? Wait, why are the buildings so tall? Wait, what is that? Oh, is that the power grid thing? Wait, I'm scared. I don't like this. I'm out of my zone. Oh, what is this? Oh, that's cool. I wonder if it's echoey. Wait, there's slush everywhere. It's gross. Is there groups gonna be? Why are there so many lights? What the hell? Wait, oh my god, I'm gonna have you drive. Wait, I'm scared. Right lane must turn right? Wait, why are we scheduling? Wait, I'm in the wrong one. That's a police officer. Wait, stay. Wait, what does that mean? What is that? Wait, I'm so scared. I'm gonna pull over. You're gonna drive.
There's nobody here. You could stop and just spin in circles and nothing would happen.
I'm so scared. There's a police officer and I'm scared. The light's turning yellow.
We spent over 2 days in Colorado and it was a ton of fun. I never would have guessed I would have gotten to meet this friend in particular because he is so far out of the way. But it worked out perfectly. We went gambling, ate a bunch of food, hung out with his pets, and overall they were incredible hosts and it was great. I loved their house. They were so nice. And it's just kind of crazy how you can I don't know, get in the car with someone you've never met, take that car with them 12 hours to another state to stay at the house of someone else who you've never met, and yet the entire group just has a great time together. So it's pretty cool. We were honestly upset to leave Colorado. However, we had a lot of driving to do. The drive from Montana to Colorado was about 12 hours, and I had just been on 2 planes, didn't really sleep, got in the car, and then I did half the driving from Montana to Colorado. Now I've seen snow before, like Raleigh gets, a couple inches a year, but I had never been in anything crazy, nor did I have much driving experience in snow, so this was honestly the perfect opportunity to hone in my skills, I guess. We're doing this drive in a 2003 Pontiac Vibe. Honestly, the car needed new tires, it's front-wheel drive, and it was incredibly slippery. We were kind of just slipping and sliding our way all the way to Colorado. Luckily, she is used to driving in snow since she's from Montana, and thankfully I am a confident driver and can pick up driving skills pretty quickly, so all in all, we had very few issues. The town we were in was one of the highest elevation towns in the United States, and our altitude was over 10,000 feet, which was an experience that I didn't know would affect me so much. The air felt so thin that I felt like even while I was just lying in bed, very comfy bed by the way. I just could not catch my breath. Just walking around Colorado, I felt like I was exercising the entire time. Now thankfully, this first stop let me get a ton of rest and regain a lot of energy, but it did not help to then get extremely nauseous for the entire time we were in Colorado because these twisty roads were just driving me insane. Even though I did take anti-nausea, I was struggling. So as beautiful as it was, and as badly as I want to go back, I was so happy to get out of Colorado and to slightly flatter, less curvy terrain. It was so incredibly cold to me. I had never been in weather this cold before. I mean, before this trip, I had been in maybe 12 to 15 degree Fahrenheit weather, but getting thrown into Montana immediately threw me into like 0 degrees. I actually felt like I was gonna die when the air touched me. It was like stinging, like painful. The craziest part though was once we got to slightly warmer cities, and when I say slightly, I mean like 20 to 30 degrees, it felt like summer after that. I ended up changing into short sleeves because compared to the 0 degree weather, 25 degrees, it felt so good. I was like cooking in the sun.
You know it's like 32, right?
But in comparison,
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like
plus not much wind right now, so far this entire trip had been nothing but new experiences, but unsurprisingly we were looking forward to being in North Carolina and having this behind us because this is a lot of miles. From Colorado we hit Kansas, and I'm pretty sure the only stops we made were for gas, as well as to clean off the front windshield because the Pontiac has no working wiper fluid and the windshield would become completely obstructed every few miles from salt and ice and snow. Our plan going into this trip was that we would each drive for maybe 4 to 8 hours and then switch off, the other person sleeps, and when we stop and switch drivers, we can get gas and get food if we want it. However, the issue we very quickly realized is anytime the passenger would fall asleep, the driver would begin to get so incredibly tired that they couldn't safely drive. So the new plan, which actually ended up working, is neither of us are allowed to sleep. So it became the job of the driver to keep the passenger awake. This way, the passenger engages in conversation with the driver, which keeps the driver engaged with the road. So instead of the initial plan of, oh yeah, we'll just each put on playlists, drive, the other person sleeps, it ended up being, okay, this entire drive, we both stay awake and we both have to maintain conversation the whole time. So in all, we had 5 potential herp meets planned. A herp meet is a meetup between herpists on the Herp Club Discord server. Sounds so stupid. I love meeting up with people from the server, and this is a great opportunity to meet people across the entire country. So we had 5 meetups scheduled. However, these weren't set in stone. 2 of these were pretty far out of the way and would have added a lot of miles to the trip, as well as one person ended up backing out. However, we decided we're still going to do at least one more, and that was going to be in Indiana. So as a recap so far, day 1 of the trip was getting myself from North Carolina to Utah. Day 2 was getting myself from Utah to Montana, and then we went to Wyoming and then Colorado. Day 3 and 4 were spent in Colorado before leaving through Kansas, through Missouri, through Illinois, all the way to Indiana. This stretch of the trip was kind of insane because we both stayed up for about 30 hours before picking up another friend at his house so that we could meet for the first time and go get food. Now is a good time to mention that all of my roommate's belongings were in this car. So for one, this meant the car had no available rear seats, which meant that my friend and I had to share the passenger seat in the front. 2, we had absolutely no rear visibility, so I could not see out the back of the car the entire drive. And 3, there was so much stuff that the front seats were pushed up almost all the way, which means I couldn't even get the seat into a comfortable position. So we did this cross-country drive while we were just completely squished to the steering wheel the whole time. This meetup was very fun as well, but admittedly I was exhausted. I mean, we both were. So the plan was to get a hotel room in Indiana, and this would be our only paid stop. Our goal was to make this trip as cheap and as efficient as possible, and so Indiana became the destination for our single hotel room of the entire drive. After grabbing food and hanging out with our friend, I actually got dropped off at the hotel early because I was so tired, and because we were on such an odd schedule, we ended up waking up around midnight, so we slept for about 8 hours and left the hotel around 1 a.m. before continuing the drive. We got some food near the hotel and continued on driving. And so after these 2 meetups, we were like, all right, we're ready to get to North Carolina. We're getting tired. Let's just go ahead, knock this trip out, and get to North Carolina. The majority of my house was just unused space at this point, and it had been for about a year. The lifestyle I was living when I purchased this house over 3 years ago has absolutely no overlap with my current life. even just where I spend my time. I mean, nowadays I'm hardly even at my house unless I'm sleeping or editing videos. Otherwise, I'm working or enjoying myself somewhere else. So I had been considering for a while how I could monetize or have lower expenses on my home, and honestly the most obvious answer was to rent out rooms and get roommates, but I didn't want to just list the house on some random like Craigslist or roommate site. Instead, I decided that if the opportunity arose, I would just take advantage, but not really actively seek out a roommate, because it would definitely be nice to alleviate some of those expenses. And so in the end, that's exactly what happened. To those unfamiliar with the concept, I guess it can sound kind of wild to meet up with someone who you've never actually met in person, but also that's kind of how you meet people, is by meeting them, I guess. And honestly, every single one of these people are exactly like they are on the internet, which is pretty wild. I guess initially I just always anticipate that, well, maybe they're, they have some sort of online persona or they act different, but once you know someone long enough, yeah, they're all exactly as they are. That's not to say it will always be the case, and it can certainly be dangerous to meet up with people in general, especially if you met them on the internet. But ultimately, none of the meets I did in person felt like a meet. It just kind of felt like continuing a conversation that we had already started, just on a different platform. I definitely feel like I need to mention, if you ever consider doing this, you got to make sure you go about doing so safely. I mean, the first time I met up with someone who I met on the internet, both of our parents came because we were both underage. I think I was 16 and he was 15 years old at the time. It was Ethan, who you may be familiar with from many videos and projects we've done together. But anyway, back to this meet in particular, the plan was once we get back to North Carolina, she can start to settle in for a couple days and move some of her stuff into the house. She had ordered a few things to my house in advance, like a bed, but unfortunately it got delayed, so the plan was she would just sleep on my couch for a few days and then get to work, particularly with exactly how I've been making money recently to pay for the house, that being delivering packages with Amazon Flex. We were arriving to North Carolina halfway through the month, so I decided that she could get 2 weeks for free basically, and then she would begin to pay rent. When we did not have an exact date on when her husband would move, because it was contingent on his mom feeling better, we knew that he was going to come shortly after, and hopefully he would do the same and start working. All three of us are in our early 20s, but they had been married for a year at this point. They had a lot of trouble finding opportunities in the very small town they were in, but being that I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, the hope was that there would be more opportunities for them to generate more substantial income and basically get their feet off the ground to start their lives however they want. We had no particular move out or lease in to date. The plan was just feel it out month by month and see how things go. And we ultimately had the same goals, which was that we both make more money. I make money from them and they make money from greater opportunities from being so close to a city. Okay, so we had these pretty good longer term plans, but what if we don't even make it through this drive? Say we're in the middle of the country and we're halfway there and we realize we just can't live together. I mean, ultimately, the way I thought of it was, think about going to college and you move into a dorm. I never went to college, so I did not have the dorm experience, which, by the way, did make me more intrigued because I never had a roommate like this before. But I figured, I mean, well, people get along for a year in a college dorm, I guess, or they don't and they just suck it up and deal with it, but it's just part of the process. What I feel like we could confirm, though, is that we would know for sure by the time we make it to North Carolina, because it turns out a 37-hour road trip is a pretty good way to get to know someone. I'm editing this 6 months after the drive, and I honestly don't actually remember like a single conversation we had. Luckily, I'm a pretty good yapper. I can yap it up literally for 37 hours straight with absolutely no problems. It's also a good representation of my lifestyle and I guess personal changes from being someone who was, so I talk about social anxiety a lot, but it's because it was such a huge part of my life until just a few years ago, where it constricted me from doing pretty much anything I wanted, to the point where I could do a solo flight across the country and get in some random person's car and then drive that person back to my house, and then we live together. So, hey, character development, not too bad, I don't think. I honestly really enjoyed the drive. It was fun. It was exciting. Yes, it was mundane at times, but surprisingly, we both agree that the drive went by really fast. This was the longest drive I've ever done, and I'm completely unintimidated by any drive I ever have to do now. Now, none of us three can say where we'll end up in 6 months or 6 years, I don't know. I personally don't plan to leave North Carolina, but who knows where I'll live specifically. My roommates, however, could kind of be wherever they want. Maybe they'll want to stay at NC or go back to Montana or visit another state. And if they do end up, say, wanting to go back to Montana, I honestly would not mind doing the same cross-country trip, just in reverse, and then I fly back home. It was pretty cool. Footage-wise, we did not film a ton. I mean, it's not by accident that you've never seen videos of my various meetups with friends, because I like to keep that, it's kind of my work-life balance, I guess, is I want to enjoy these friendships totally off camera. This was an exception though, because not only was it a bigger event that was more than just actually meeting up with friends, but also because it was kind of expected that we would end up shooting videos together, and that's why you've already seen Kaz in many videos over the past few months, because obviously this video is being posted out of order. And it did feel pretty good, finally seeing those recognizable mountains. Not those crazy jagged ones from Colorado that make me want to puke, but just my little hilly, smoky mountains as we began to approach North Carolina. The last few hours of the trip probably felt the longest just because we were so close yet so far, like we just couldn't teleport there. But eventually, we made it. We pulled into the house, and I went straight to bed. The 6 months between when I filmed this video and today when I'm posting it has been, what you've seen on the channel. I've been working on new projects as well as paying off debt, making money, and coming up with new ideas. And I really feel that starting 2024 off with this many new experiences was most certainly the right call. So this was, speaking of yapping, this was a lot of yapping just in this video, but what else am I supposed to do with all this time-lapse footage? We time-lapsed the entire drive from Colorado to NC. I gotta put it somewhere. So hopefully you enjoyed. There is much more to come. You now know the backstory of my roommates, and that'll be it. So I'm Alex, and thanks for watching.